love systems of white supremacy that built in so deeply. They bruise our very souls as children remain in cages, families separated, as refugees continue to drown in desperation, and Black and brown bodies are profiled and shot by militarized police. For the sins of the illusion of a melting pot of promise that uses Black and brown bodies as the fuel under the pot, burning with the salty tears of their mothers. For the sins of generations of transnational colonialism that continues to lead to genocide after genocide of those with privilege using their power to make some lives matter more. Tonight, the whole planet must be our sanctuary. The whole world must be our home. And I feel you. I do feel us standing together at this late hour, ready to examine our souls and our relationships with each other. So let us do this with honesty and with rachmanis, with compassion. For when we are forgiving of ourselves and of each other, the universe and godliness will also be forgiving. We must remember the sacred formula in the liturgy of these holy days. Teshuvah, tefillah, and tzedakah, ma'avirim et roa hagezirah, that the gates of teshuvah, of transformation and change, are always open if we remember teshuvah, this act of turning that can transform and change. The acts of tefillah, crying out, daring to cry out to the universe for what it is we need, we want, we desire. And tzedakah, acts of generosity and kindness. The gates of teshuvah, of transformation and change, will be open if we remember this formula. As the doors of this sanctuary that we create tonight are also open. Let us open our hearts and connect soul to soul as we stand together in this sanctuary that we build by welcoming all, even across these airwaves, by moving the margins to the middle, and by seeing each other even as we stay masked and safe, by knowing that even without being in our beloved Sukkot Shalom, we can still call out together, and we will be heard.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough
to shut out pettiness and pride, envy, and may it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and
may the synagogue be
for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Shavua Tov. Is it paradoxical that it is late at night that I always feel the most awake? I love the seemingly endless space of the night. Like if I don't fall asleep, it will go on forever. I love the mystery of why the darkness is actually the best time to see things clearly. I feel more of the feels, as my kids say, post-midnight. Jewish tradition teaches that the nighttime is all about faith. Your very vulnerability in the dark forces your spiritual side to be in the driver's seat. When I was an outdoor educator in New England, the highlight of the week was always the night hike. We went into the woods, my group and we would venture, and in the darkness, we obviously couldn't rely on our sight like we do during the day. And so we leaned into the sensation of the wind, the direction that comes from the differentiation of sky from landscape, our inner eye filling in the vague shapes that we saw all around us. We leaned into our trust in one another. We leaned into faith. At night, the kids were just more open, honest, and kind to each other when they knew the harsh and differentiating light of day wasn't bearing down on them. Just knowing that there's a 24-hour diner up the street from me makes me happy, even though I don't go there very often. It truly warms my heart when there are pre-dawn options out there. There is even a tradition in the Talmud of sleeping during the first part of the night, but then waking up well before morning for a special service called the Tikkun Chatzot, the rectification of midnight. One of the legends around this concept is about King David. It says that King David would get awakened for this special post-midnight service when the strings of his magical harp were caressed by a northerly breeze at midnight. The mystics say that midnight is also the time of the Messiah, of ultimate redemption and healing, the time when justice and mercy are fused into one. And so we gather in our various homes and places, our shelters in place, which I hope and pray are shelters of peace. We gather at this late hour for slichot, hoping that with our guards down, as so often happens at night, our teshuvah journey of days of awe transformation will get a jump start less than a week before Rosh Hashanah begins. If Rosh Hashanah is literally the head of the beginning of transformation, think about that. The head of the beginning of transformation, because Shana not only means year, it also has the root of shinui, of change. The beginning of transformation. So then slichot can be considered the beginning of transformation. When this service is in person, we engage in an indoor tashlich style ritual of naming by writing down some of the negative behaviors we want to get rid of. We write them down on a slip of paper and we watch them melt away in a bowl of water. So if you have nearby, or if you want to go get a piece of paper and a pencil, feel free to engage in this spiritual practice of letting go, of forgiving yourself, of starting the process of making change. Write down some schmutz, as we like to call it, some behaviors, things that you say that you really shouldn't say, and things that you do that you know you ought not do. Write those down. And after the service, go ahead and dissolve them. It doesn't make the behavior go away, but perhaps it allows us to start the work of getting rid of that behavior. But since we're online, and not everybody's going to write down their schmutz, I want to offer something a little different. I want to offer a brief guided imagery, a meditation into this late night space as we let go to make room for meaning and growth. So I ask you to close your eyes if you wish to close them. Take a deep breath and then let your breathing become more regular. Let your breathing become deeper. Imagine in that space that you have an appointment tonight with a very important person. That very important person you have an appointment with is your own self. So I ask you to do what we talked about in the 70s, find yourself. It is more than a simple reflection of you, though, that you are meeting with. It is actually the way you are, the way you were meant to be. Yourself sits down very close to you and speaks in a whisper. According to the Torah, the first question posed to the first human is not, what have you done, but where are you at? Yourself similarly invites you to take a look at your inner life, your inner parts. What's good in there? What's not so good? What do you have within you that is useful to you? What do you have that is not useful to you? Yourself then says, here's what I think you should be doing in the next 6 months. Here's what I think you should be doing in the next 6 months. Take a second, a moment, and listen to what yourself is saying to you. Now, yourself brings over a mirror, a special mirror that allows you to see your reflection not only on the outside, but also the non-physical aspects of your body. Moreover, this mirror lets you make some changes to yourself. You rearrange your image until it reflects the way you wish to be. Now take one big step forward and walk into that mirror. Wiggle around and feel what it's like to be inside you as a changed person. You transformed. You have a choice now. We all have a choice now. You can end this fantasy, this imagery, this meditation, or you can live in that new self. You can actually live in that new self for the beginning of this new year. It's up to you. It's up to us. So now you can slowly open your eyes. Fellow nighthawks, night crawlers, night riders, night owls, I am so glad that we are starting this journey together on the night shift. I love you. I love you all with the love of midnight.
There's a tradition that beginning on Rosh Hashanah, 3 books are opened. The first is the Book of Life. The second, the Book of Death. And the third, the Book of the Intermediate, the book for those whose fate has not yet been determined. We don't know which book we are destined for. So we come together late this evening, ironically, to wake ourselves up. Because our tradition teaches us there is still time for us to change. It's never too late to become a better version of ourselves. So I want to share with you an alternative Unatana Tokef by Rabbi Joseph Mesler. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed, that this year people will live and die, some more gently than others, and nothing lives forever. But amidst overwhelming forces of nature and humankind, we still write our own book of life, and our actions are the words in it, and the stages of our lives are the chapters, and nothing goes unrecorded ever. Every deed counts. Everything we do matters, and we never know what act or word will leave an impression or tip the scale. So if not now, then when? For the things we can change, there is tshuva, realignment. For the things we cannot change, there is tefillah, prayer. For the help we can give, there is tzedakah, justice. Together, let us write a beautiful book of life for the Holy One to read. And so for this whole season, we add these words to our prayer for peace, a prayer that we all may be written, b'Sefer Chaim, in the book of life.
בספר חיים, בספר חיים, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. בספר חיים, בספר חיים, בספר חיים, בספר חיים, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. נזכר ונכתב לפניך, לפניך. נזכר ונכתב לפניך, לפניך.
בספר חיים, בספר חיים,
ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל, לחיים לחיים טובים ולשלום. ידעי
בספר חיים, בספר חיים, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה.
That was good. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Kal molalenu, Ve'alul aleinu, V'tatenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kal tevet, V'cherev ram me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Chosar Umastin me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Odinu b'sefer chayim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu, Kadosh Aleinu.
May it be your will that I speak no more, and my voice be still as it was before. I will speak no more, I shall abide until I'm spoken for, if it be your will. If it be your will that a voice be true from this broken hill, I will sing to you. From this broken hill, all your praises they shall ring. If it be your will to let me sing. From this broken hill, all your praises they shall ring. If it be your will to let me sing. If it be your will, if there is a choice, let the rivers fill, let the hills rejoice, let your mercy spill on these burning hearts in hell. If it be your will to make us well and draw us near, bind us tight, all your children here in their rags of light, in our rags of light, all dressed to kill. And in this night, if it be your will,
It's always the custom to visit the cemetery during Elul, and especially these days just before Rosh Hashanah. And I think the tradition understands that these are tender times for people who have lost loved ones, lost people who gave their lives meaning, lost people who, when they left broken hearts, bruised souls. And so this custom of visiting the graves, lighting candles, remembering, telling stories, looking at pictures, I think is a wonderful antidote to the empty chairs, to the missing people that we've shared these holidays with. And so at the end of this service, we always include Kaddish. We've been saying Kaddish a lot these days, the Shabbos of 9/11 this year. The people that have been taken in the fires and from COVID, and certainly all the shootings, the senseless deaths, the police shootings, the things that we could control. And so for the sake of our loved ones, let us promise to do better this year. And to remember them. And so we turn to the words of the Kaddish. Can I say anything? And invite everyone to say these words with us. Words that we know. We believe were brought to us by angels, because somehow the angels knew that we would need words to say. So they gave us words that don't mention death. They gave us words that would bring us a lift. Words of praise for godliness, for goodness, for greatness, and words that end with a prayer for peace. So think about the people who have helped us become who we are, and the people who we will be missing. This year, I know it was the year today that Sandy Jaffe died. And so many, we've lost so many good people this past year. I think about Randy's godson, Rodney, blessed memory, just lost him this week, too young. A tragedy. And my first congregational president, Buddy Glassman, Jackson, Tennessee. And we say these names. We say these names. And then we pass the names on. And we pray that as we remember them, their memories will be a blessing. So we say together, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'olma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalah v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yeh shemei Rabbah v'barach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'richu la'illah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nachmata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'rumav uya aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. It's our tradition to change the Torah mantle. And so I'm going to ask Jim to help me here. I'm going to hold it. And we'll take off the tikkun cover and replace it with the High Holiday cover. Traditional white for these holy days. One of the first gifts we received was this beautiful High Holiday cover. Let me see it. I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. There we go. There it is. You can hold this. You know, when we're together, we usually have our candles burning and we look at the glow in each other's faces and then we say, we're going to end with our nigun. We're going to end the way we began. And we're going to leave in silence because the next time we'll be together, and it's true. Next Friday night for Shabbat, it will also be the new moon of Tishrei. And that's the next time we will be together for this kind of prayer. And so we leave in silence to return and to prepare because we still have days. We still have a few days to prepare, to really be ready to do the work that it takes to be able to stand in this sanctuary of our planet and say to each other, may it be a good year, a healthier year, and a year of peace, and believe it. And so, dear friends, what is firmly established cannot be uprooted. What is firmly grasped cannot slip away. It will be honored l'dor v'dor, from generation to generation. What is good has been told to us. This is what is asked of you: to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. Cultivate these, plant and nourish them, care for their growth, and they will be abundant upon this earth, that our lives, the lives of all creation, will be blessed with shalom, with peace. May it come soon. Amen.